Hi, this is Eric for UltraGranular, and here is how it works, and more importantly, how it can help you beat your Google Ads auction competitors simply by getting increasingly specific, or as its name indicates, increasingly granular. So to get started, just click Analyze your search terms, and you will see that all you need to get started is a search term report from your Google Ads account. So in your Google Ads account, click Keywords and then Search Terms and try to select a date range that gives you about 500, well, between 200 and 1,000 clicks. That should be an interesting sample to get started. But before you download, make sure you go to Columns and Modify Columns. And in the attributes, click Keywords or make sure Keywords is clicked because that's not the case by default. And then Apply, and then you can download in CSV format, not Excel CSV, but CSV. Now go back to UltraGranular and just click Choose File. And in your downloads, you should find that search term report you just created. Double click it and scroll down and click Start Finding Marvels. Now, to better illustrate the functionality of UltraGranular, I'm going to be using a file made of various cases. So let's start the analysis. The first thing you'll notice is that UltraGranular highlights in red the words that users searched for but that were not in your initial keyword. They are often legitimate, but sometimes they are not, and that's where you'll find most negative keywords. Compare that to Google's black and white tool, and you can easily see the time you'll already save. Indeed, adding a negative keyword is now as easy as just clicking on a word. And the fun feature is that it gives you an estimate in real time of how much you will save over a year for that negative keyword you have added based on the sample we're looking at right now. Why yearly? Because what most people don't realize is that a keyword that costs only $5 a week will have costed $260 after a year. And if it was irrelevant, that's wasted money, or in this case, $640 just for someone looking to sue their real estate broker when the advertiser is actually looking for clients, not people to sue him. Now, maybe you don't care about $600, but what matters most is the effect it has on growing your business or your client's business if you're a campaign manager. That's why we included also a potential competitive advantage feature here. And here what it tells us really is that by saving that much, we're already 3% more competitive compared to our competitors who are still paying for the bad keyword. And that also means that you can raise your bid confidently by 3%, for example, in this case, without really paying more because you yielded that 3% out of something you were paying for nothing, which is a negative keyword. Now let's return to the features. If you want to add a chunk of text, just click on the first word several times and the subsequent words will be added as well. As soon as you add more than a word, the system will immediately switch the negative match to phrase match. By the way, common misconception, this is the negative match type, not the keyword match type, which is reflected in the keyword column here. Also, if you want to add separate negative keywords, just separate them with a comma. Now here, obviously, it's more efficient to add a negative keyword for apply for, and another one for job. That way, if someone searches apply for a position or for an employment or any other variation, you'll still be able to negate that, and any future query with job in it will be excluded. Another time saver feature is that UltraGranular will rank search terms by the most likely to need attention first. So if you have thousands of search terms to look at, you will notice that as you get towards the bottom of the list, the search terms and keyword you see there are very closely related and less likely to need attention. That's quite a time saver as well. Now, you will notice that the system gives you suggestions. They may or may not be appropriate. It's always for you to decide. But if they are, like here, for example, if you're selling Levoit core air purifiers, you don't want to, you're not selling replacement filters. So here, in this case, the negative keyword identified is appropriate. You can just click apply and it will automatically put it there and calculate any saving associated with it. It's always important, though, to look at the red words that may contain other interesting negative keywords. Now let's look at the different categories. By default, the negative keywords you add are assigned to shared negative list 1, but there's also list 2 and 3, and really they are just placeholders. Basically, assign them mentally to existing lists in your account, and when you finish and are ready to apply your changes, they will appear in different boxes. For example, I like to put the negative keywords that are specific to one campaign in shared negative list 1, and I put those that are common to all campaigns in an account in shared negative list 2. There's also campaign negative and ad group negative. You can also add a custom category, for example, notes to yourself, or it could be questions for the client, and then you'll have these categories as well in the drop down list. So at some point, you might want to choose a name for the job and save it. And as you get towards the bottom of the list, you will find that there are less things to look at because UltraGranular sorts things in the order of which are most interesting to look at first. So when you feel that you've watched enough or you've looked at enough search terms, you should click apply changes. So for the negative keywords you added for lists, as you can see, they're already arranged with brackets for exact match or double quotes for phrase match or nothing if broad match. So you can just select what goes in one list in particular and go to your Google Ads account, click tools, and go to negative keywords lists and choose whatever list you want to put it in and simply add it. All right, so here we're going to paste, and I would normally save if I wanted to put these keywords, but they were just for an example. Um, you do the same for another list, for example, and then collapse that bar. And for those negative keywords that you added for to campaigns or ad groups, this button here will give you exactly a spreadsheet that's ready to paste in Google Ads Editor. So you can just go to Google Ads Editor and go to account, import, and paste text, which you can also reach with Control Shift I, and it will add these keywords to the right campaigns. Again, I won't do it because that was just an example. Or if you don't have Google Ads Editor, don't use it, you can also just copy here and paste those in the negative keywords part of the campaign in question. Now, once you're finished, I recommend clicking the Mark as Done button. What it will do is it will add all the pairs of search terms and keywords that you already looked at and covered, and you won't see them next time. So that's an amazing time saver. The problem with the manual method is each and every time you start looking at negative keywords, you have to look at those you've seen before again. By the way, speaking of coming back regularly to look at your search terms in search of negative keywords, I cannot stress just how extremely important it is to do that, to beat your competitors and to stop paying for bad keywords while they keep paying for bad keywords. And let me illustrate that with a Reddit poll that was conducted where the question asked was how important is it to keep adding negative keywords, as opposed really to what most people tend to do, which is download a list somewhere on the internet and add it and think that the problem is solved. For one case in which we made tests in particular, we started a campaign and added all the classic negative keywords. Yet, by looking at the search terms every week or two with UltraGranular, we were still finding new important negative keywords to add 6, 7, or 8 months after starting, and we're still finding some today. So, as you can see here, professionals who work in that field overwhelmingly said that it's either extremely important to a successful campaign or rather important to add negative keywords ongoingly and periodically. So, really, that's something you should do frequently to make sure that you never pay or don't pay too much for keywords you don't need. So that's it for this getting started video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope it motivated you to start looking at your search terms and find negative keywords. Of course, you can go to ultragranular.com and try it for free. You don't even have to sign up to try it. And if you own an agency, or if you're a professional campaign manager, stick with me a bit more. I will show some other features. All right, so first and foremost, if you're a campaign manager and you do not audit search terms for negative keywords at least twice a month, I suggest you stop watching this video right now, because otherwise what's coming up will scare you. So if you're a serious campaign manager, you understand that already. And here are 3 perks to using UltraGranular to constantly audit search terms for negative keywords. First, with all the automation that Google is adding all the time, curating negative keywords is one of the things that you can still do that illustrates your value as a manager. And if you subscribe to a medium or large account, you can see that once you finish a job and apply the changes that you just found, there's a button to generate reports. And it's really a template with text that you can edit. And it also comes with graphs that illustrate, in this case, that we were able to yield 11% of savings, which can be reinvested in higher bids at no extra cost, because that was money that was wasted anyway. And it illustrates to the client the work that you do for them. So once you modified the text to your liking, you can just click generate report, and there will be a preview. But of course, you can download a PDF, and you'll get to download a nice PDF report that explains your client how many search terms you reviewed and for which period, and how much, again, it will save them, as well as a list, a breakdown of the negative keywords you added and which search terms or a sample of search terms that it will help prevent from now on. Number two, another perk of using UltraGranular to periodically add negative keywords is that it will increase both click-through rate and conversion rate. And here's how. There's a few campaign managers out there who think they shouldn't control negative keywords because it will reduce the spend and make the client think that you're not sending as much traffic. But that's such a misconception. Instead, what the client will see is that conversions keep pouring in at a faster rate, and you'll be able to raise your bids within the same budget. For instance, if you work for a roofer that specializes in flat roofs, and you successfully exclude queries that are about shingle roofs or Spanish tiles, etc., or just repairs, the CTR, the click-through rate, will increase. Because if your ad touts your flat roof specialty and skills, obviously the person looking for Spanish tile roofers is much less likely to click through. That's how negative keywords increase CTR. If you don't show up anymore for Spanish tile roofs, your ad will be more relevant and the overall click through rate will increase, and you'll be able to report the good news to your client. And also, Google will likely send you more traffic for reasons we all know. And it will also improve the conversion rate because there will be less people who clicked accidentally to later find out that your client doesn't offer what they need. So those that click through will be the real goods prospects. And that also increases conversion rate. And finally, number three, you can use UltraGranular when you offer free audits to your potential clients. Because there's nothing like pointing out that the previous manager didn't care about their spending and negative keywords to convince them to switch to you. You can say, look, you're selling snowmobiles, but you just paid $15 this week for Lego model snowmobiles. And $15 a week is almost $800 per year that you're throwing away because your current manager doesn't care. And then you can show, of course, more examples. But you can demonstrate that a previous person did not do their job and how you're the good person that will finally take matters seriously. So that's it. I invite you to try Ultra Granular now for free. The link is in the description. You don't even have to create an account. You can just click Analyze your search terms at the top of the page. And of course, the free version doesn't let you see all the table rows and doesn't have all the features, but you can certainly get a good amount of work done just on the free version. So thank you and good luck with your campaigns.